especially in this moment. There are a lot of people that said, you got to stay in the house. We need our voice. We need you there. And I understand. But what we need is for me to have a bigger voice. What we need is not only a voice, but we need to make sure that we are going to stop all the hell.
A bigger voice, really? Really? At least she's being honest, though. At least she is being honest about serving only herself. We got a lot to get into, and I want to talk about the brand new U.S. Senate campaign that's already off the rails. So we're talking about none other than Texas Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who has officially decided that she wants to move up to the United States Senate in 2026. And if you didn't catch her announcement video, well, let's just say it wasn't exactly focused on policy, vision, or even introducing who she is. The entire commercial was built around clips of President Trump insulting her. That was the whole shtick. Trump saying that she has low IQ, Trump saying Democrats are in trouble, Trump mocking her, and then she turns dramatically towards the camera and smiles like, yeah, vote for me. I want you guys to see this. I don't know if you guys had a chance, but we got to take a look at it. Let's keep it moving.
How about this new one they have, their new star, Crockett? How about her?
She's the new star of the Democrat Party, Jasmine Crockett. They're in big trouble.
But you have this woman, Crockett. She's a very low IQ person.
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. Crockett. Oh, man, oh, man.
She's a very low IQ person.
Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding.
Now they're going to rely on Crockett. Crockett's going to bring them back.
Not really sure what her campaign is trying to say here. Seriously, I'm not really sure what her campaign is trying to say here, but the entire message boils down to vote for Jasmine because Trump doesn't like her. That's it. No case for qualifications, no record of helping Texans, no plan to make anyone's life better. Just the same old orange man bad playbook. Orange man bad, vote for me because he doesn't like me. And her team genuinely thought that that would be enough to win a statewide race in the state of Texas. That's what they think. Hey, you all got to hear this. So I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I Googled myself. And man, I found entirely too much personal info out there. My address, old jobs, even relatives just sitting online for anyone to grab. And that sent me down a rabbit hole. And I found out there are actual companies called data brokers that sell your info to marketers, scammers, even stalkers. Disgusting, right? And that's exactly why I use today's sponsor, Aura. Legally, data brokers, they need to remove your information if you ask them, but they make it extremely difficult to do so. But Aura does the hard work for you. They automatically scan those shady broker sites and removes your information. But it doesn't stop there. It also gives you identity theft alerts, fraud protection, and a built-in VPN to keep your data safe wherever you browse. So here's the deal. Hit my link down below or go to aura.com/wise for a 14-day free trial. At the very least, check if your personal information is being sold. Privacy is power in this digital age. Don't give yours away. Try Aura free, 2 weeks, see what's out there, and take control. Now let's get back into the video. Crockett is branding herself as the bold progressive who can flip Texas blue, leaning hard on identity politics. Y'all already know what time it is. She's leaning very hard on identity politics to do it. She tells voters to ignore critics who say she can't win because she's a black woman, or she's black, a woman, or a Democrat, and insist that Republicans fear her strength. But enthusiasm for herself doesn't change reality. Texas isn't downtown Dallas. It's a culturally conservative state that has never embraced far-left politics. And the wild part about all of this is a lot of Republicans are celebrating the fact that she announced. They see this as a unwinnable race for her. And even the Democrats are nervous about this. And in my opinion, I think the reason that, she jumped out there is because the polls came out and it did say that she would win the primary and it wouldn't be close. You got a lot of Democrats out there that are very nervous They know that her national reputation comes from viral arguments and personal insults, not unity, not results. And this is someone who mocked Governor Abbott's disability on national TV and routinely labels opponents as extremists and racist. I mean, there's a plethora of outrage clips, but those clips don't necessarily translate into statewide victories. And the biggest red flag hit immediately. In her first major interview after announcing her Senate run, she was asked the simplest, most obvious question: how do you win over Trump voters, the largest voting bloc in the state of Texas? And her answer wasn't outreach or strategy. It was, we don't need them. Let's roll the clip.
Voters who previously voted for Trump, particularly given that you have been an outspoken critic and he has inserted himself. Just take your campaign video as is. He has inserted himself at every turn when it comes to your commentary. How will you convert those who are supportive of him to voters for you?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll necessarily convert all of Trump supporters. That's not our goal.
Do you need to?
Our goal is to definitely talk to people. No, we don't. We don't need to. Our goal is to make sure that we can engage people that historically have not been talked to, because there's so many people that get ignored, specifically in the state of Texas. Listen, the state of Texas is 61% people of color. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of good folk that we can talk to. We know that when Beto came really close, Beto, who is a progressive, we know that he got 65% of the Latino vote. So what did they do after that? They specifically went after Latinos. We know that he got close to 90% or right there at 90% of the African American vote. So honestly, what we need to do is start talking to the vast majority of Texas. I think my message is very much a mainstream message. I don't know who disagrees with the fact that affordability is a real thing, except for the president, who says it's a Democratic hoax. But when somebody goes to the grocery store nowadays, whether it's in East Texas or whether it's right here in Dallas, Texas, or whether it's in Austin or West Texas, let me tell you, they are looking at those grocery prices and they are thinking we deserve better.
So her plan is to energize people who don't vote, specifically minority voters. She just assumes that that type of support, or those people will support her simply because of the color of her skin. But the problem is this: those voters historically don't turn out in large enough numbers to flip the state. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the demographics in the state of Texas. 40% of the state is Hispanic or Latino. 40% of the state is white. And then you have another, I guess about 13 or 14% of the state that is black. And then you have about 4 or 5% of the state that is Asian. She could care less about the 60% of people that did vote for President Trump, because that's pretty much what happened in the state of Texas. About 60% of the people, and that's black, white, Hispanics, and Asians that voted for President Trump. They don't care about this. And she doesn't care about it. She doesn't think that she needs those people to win. She's banking on people that historically don't turn out to vote. And they're hoping that in a state that requires voter ID. Now, she might actually legitimately have a chance with that type of thinking in a place like California or some other state out there that doesn't have a required voter ID law that is required in order to vote. She may actually have a chance in one of those states, but not in the state of Texas. Now, what we do know is that Democrats have tried this strategy multiple times. It hasn't worked when they've tried it. Beto O'Rourke got enormous hype and money, ran as a progressive star, and still lost. Numerically, Crockett's argument just doesn't hold water. Donald Trump won Texas by over 1.5 million votes. That's not a gap that you just close by, writing off half the state. Day one, immediately she did that. And she's not just ignoring the voters she needs, she's alienating those voters. The thing about Jasmine Crockett is she is such a polarizing individual. There's no in between with her. You have people that really like Jasmine Crockett, and there's not a whole lot of those people. And then you have folks that really despise Jasmine Crockett. So there's no in between there. There's no people that are on the fence and let's see what her policies are. No, you either really like Jasmine Crockett, and that's a minority of people. And then you have people that really despise Jasmine Crockett, and that's the majority of people. That's in the state and across the country. Every time Jasmine Crockett dismisses conservatives or labels criticism as racist or sexist. She makes it harder and harder and harder to persuade undecided Texans. And instead of broadening the tent, she's shrinking her audience before the race even begins. And already before anyone even had time to blink, Crockett supporters are already slinging accusations of racism at anyone who dares to point out that her polling numbers looked terrible. Because apparently, noticing math is now considered white supremacy. Now, here's the wild part. It isn't just running on Trump bad. She wants everyone to believe she's the next Barack Hussein Obama. During her speech, she literally compared her name, Jasmine Crockett, to Obama, like both are these unique, inspiring, barrier-breaking names that once made America doubt greatness. You can't make this stuff up, man. Again, this is an individual who has been in the House and hasn't instituted or implemented one piece of legislation worth anything. And now all of a sudden, this individual has decided to toss their name in the ring or their hat, in the ring to run for a Senate seat. It just really goes to show you how low our politics have sunk. And to be honest with you, maybe it's been in the gutter for quite some time now. It has been. Let's just keep it a buck. I mean, when you have people like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and others who have been in office for 3-4 decades with no pushback, no real challenger, our political, politics in America, the politicians in America, the bar is extremely low. It really is. It's extremely low.
We didn't focus on the naysayers. We didn't get distracted by any pollsters. We remained laser focused on getting the person who was best for the job into the seat. We didn't let history diminish our hope in what was possible. We ignored that the devil on our shoulder that sometimes tries to tell us your vote doesn't matter. The country's not ready. He can't win. And responded with that timeless American creed. Yes, we can. Yes, I'm talking about President Barack Obama. How many no's do you think he heard before he got a yes? No, you can't win. No, the country's not ready for a black president. No, a black man can't get elected. No, your middle name is Hussein. No, you can't beat the Clinton machine. But every time they told him no, he looked them right in the eyes and he told them yes. He said, yes, we can. Yes, we can deliver on health care. Yes, we can enshrine equal rights. Yes, we can bring jobs back to America, create opportunities for all. And yes, we can save the economy after a Republican president sends it into the gutter.
You can criticize Obama on a million things. But the one thing everyone admitted is that the man could speak. He's probably, one of the best orators we've had as a president in quite some time. Let's just keep it a buck. And I have tons of smoke and criticism for former President Barack Obama. But dude was a great speaker. He didn't have to change, how he talked to connect with audience. Crockett, completely different story. There are now countless side-by-side clips showing her regular voice when she's handling official duties, and then her sudden exaggerated black scent, let's call it what it is, black scent, performance mode when she's talking to progressive activists or campaigning. I mean, it's blatantly fake. It's pandering, and ironically, it suggests that she believes that black voters will only connect with her if she sounds less educated and more stereotypical. Meanwhile, wealthy white liberals clap like trained seals because they think that caricature of behavior is somehow authentic. In my opinion, it's insulting. It's performative. And it says far more about how Democrats view black Americans than anything a Republican has ever said. But wait, it gets better. On top of the theatrics, Crockett has already floated the idea of making black Americans exempt from taxes as a form of reparations, not lowering taxes for everyone, not broad-based reform, just a race-specific carve-out that would blow up the entire tax system and guarantee nonstop division in a state where Republicans consistently win statewide by razor-thin margins.
I don't remember which celebrity, but it was actually a celebrity, and I was like, I don't know that that's not necessarily a bad idea. But I'd have to think through it a lot. One of the things that they propose is black folk not have to pay taxes for a certain amount of time, because then again, that puts money back in your pocket. But at the same time, it may not be as objectionable to some people about actually giving out dollars. But obviously then you start dealing with the different tax brackets and things like that. And that's one of the reasons that, we argue the reparations make sense, because so many black folk, not only do you owe for the labor that was stolen and killed and all the other things, right? But the fact is, like, we end up being so far behind, right? And so it's like, how do you bring forth people? Exactly. And so it's like, if you do the no tax thing for people that are already, say, struggling and aren't really paying taxes in the first place, it doesn't really exactly.
They may want those checks like they got during COVID.
Exactly.
So this is her opening pitch. Instead of offering solutions, Crockett's message boils down to, if you don't support her, you're racist. Question the polls, racist. Ask about our record, racist. Ask her about any, piece of legislation that she's implemented or been a part of in the House of Representatives, racist. Ask her why she's cosplaying a hood girl. That would be considered racist. And she's doing all of this before she's even won the primary. Now, to be fair, Democrats have played this game before. National donors hyping a Texas candidate who looks good on MSDNC. I mean, you guys remember Beto O'Rourke, the dude who changed his name to Beto, you know what I'm saying? Just because he thought that it would help him relate to the Hispanics or Latinos in the state of Texas. If I'm not mistaken, I think that dude's name is actually Robert, I believe. Somebody correct me in the chat, but I believe that dude's name is Robert. If you guys recall back then, Hollywood poured millions into that race, and he still lost to Ted Cruz. Expect the same situation to happen here. You're going to have oceans of New York and California money pretending Texas is desperate for a far left progressive when they're definitely not. But Crockett does have high name recognition among Democratic voters. So she could win the primary. Matter of fact, the polls state that she will win the primary, and the polls also state that she will get smoked in the general. And if Republicans nominate a weak or a scandal-ridden candidate, Democrats might try to sneak her into the Senate on sheer turnout alone. And that's why paying attention now matters. If she makes it to the general, Texans could be stuck with 6 years of a professional race-baiting influencer pretending to be a senator. And even if she knows she's not connecting with everyday Texans, she's already said that she has zero intention of appealing to Trump voters, the largest voting bloc in the state. Her entire strategy is banking on progressive activists who don't live in the state of Texas. But here's the bigger issue. A statewide campaign isn't a cable news segment. You can't win on sound bites and insults. You have to persuade people who don't agree with you. In more cases than not, they don't actually like you. You have to persuade those people to vote for you. And she seems like she doesn't have any interest in doing that. Again, this is your first day out on the campaign trail, and we still don't know what her policies are. That's a problem. But that seems like that is the running thing when it comes to being a Democrat. They're not out here to run on policies. Crockett's rollout feels less like a Senate campaign and more like an audition tape for a permanent TV gig. And voters, they can smell the ego a mile away. Texans, whether they like Trump or not, care about stability, economic strength, border security, and unity. And when a candidate opens their campaign with, "I don't need you," they usually lose in a landslide. And if she wins the Democratic primary, that's exactly what Republicans are expecting. And to be honest with you, I think there's a lot of Republicans out there, especially in the state and honestly across the country, that are ecstatic at the fact that she tossed her daggone hat in the ring. They're ecstatic about it. They were hoping that she would be the one to run, and they hope that she's the one that will win the primary because they know whoever it is that they put up, whoever it is, whether it's, Wesley Hunt or John Cornyn, it doesn't matter. That individual is going to win. It's not going to be close. Crockett's campaign is already off to a rocky start. And based on, how she's handled the first week, the more she talks, the more she fires up conservative voters. Some campaigns expand their base, others energize the opposition. This looks like a campaign that's going to energize the opposition. I'm a firm believer, if you let someone talk long enough, they will show you exactly who they are. And Jasmine Crockett has shown us exactly who she is. Hey, judge the tree. Judge the tree by the fruit that it bears. And that's one rotten, wicked tree. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Consider joining the ARP family. Buy your brother a coffee. Link in the description box below. Join us Monday through Friday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for ARP in the morning. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you all next time. Peace.
Vibes so raw, can't hide the truth. Words so sharp.